Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 29 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series, where today I am going to make a turnabout faster than I ever have before. So I've been playing with applied energistics a little bit, and remember I mentioned that in this version of Minecraft they kind of started rewriting some things and changing some things in how they work. There's a few features that I personally really am used to and depend on that aren't fully implemented or working just yet, and as a result, it's making it difficult for me because I'm very used to certain mechanics. Like, I'm used to being able to do this, I'm used to being able to do that. Some of them just aren't implemented yet because, you know, the mod team is working hard to kind of, like, AE2 is a really, you know, old mod. It's been around for a while. So I think they're working hard to rewrite and do a bunch of stuff. As a result, I've decided that I want to put a pause on applied energistics, switch to refined storage, and then come back to applied energistics at a near point in the future once we get into mechanism gases and stuff. So as a result, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bunch of refined storage stuff, show you guys the difference between the two mods, and then transition to refined storage, where there's also some cool stuff. Because I think we've got, like, reborn storage too in the pack. Isn't that in there? Yeah, it is. Reborn storage, which is awesome. And reborn storage adds a bunch of cool things, including super advanced nifty gadgets that I want to play with and try. Because they look... I'm just curious, like, what's a super wireless grid do? I don't know, but it sounds cool. So, typically I would usually pick one, applied energistics or refined storage. Because I want to give both mods, you know, proper credence and get some, you know, recognition for both of them throughout my series this time, I want to kind of use both. So I think I'm going to use refined storage for my primary storage system, and applied energistics we will use to do some fancy stuff when we get into gases, and probably some, like, smaller automations and whatnot. Does that sound cool? I hope so, because we're totally switching it up. Certain things that just aren't working yet was, like, when you look up recipes, it didn't show you what you were missing, per se. So, like, if I look this up, do I have everything for this? I do, right? But if I look this up, like, see how there's no red overlay here? So I don't really know what's missing or what's not. And also the ability to control click, which, like, auto-crafts, that's a really complicated mechanic, and it's not implemented yet in this version of applied energistics. So I know refined storage has it because I kind of already created a test world and was playing with refined storage to see how it's different. So what we're going to do is make refined storage today. So to get into refined storage, we're going to need very similar things, because refined storage is actually a mod that was created to replicate the olden days of applied energistics 1. And applied energistics 2, you know, has come away and done its own thing, and now refined storage is kind of its own approach. So a lot of refined storage is going to look similar to applied energistics if you've played with it before. And that's by design. Like, the mod is very much inspired by the original applied energistics. So we're going to still need a controller. We're still going to need cables. We're going to have some processors that are very similar to the processors we made downstairs. We're also going to have the storage disks. Now, the cool thing about storage disks from refined storage is they don't have the limitation for the number of items. So when you have a 64K storage disk, it can hold 64,000 items. It can have 64,000 of the same item or 64,000 different items. There's no 63 types limitation with refined storage. So that's kind of cool. You know, that's a pretty neat mechanic. And in other words, most of the other stuff is pretty similar. Like, a lot of the functionality is pretty similar, I'm going to say. So what I'm going to do, actually, is I'm going to pop down here, and I'm going to snag... I might leave this stuff in place for now, but I do want to disconnect this energy acceptor, because he's actually drawing a lot, and I mean a lot, of power from my my whole thing. You can see I have my pocket storage tier 3 on me because I was doing a little bit more off-camera mining, because I realized I was not quite good enough in terms of iron. We didn't really want iron, but that's okay. We got more now. So let's get started, huh? Sound cool? So one of the things we're going to need to get cooking with this is we're going to need the 3 tiers of processor. And they all require either diamonds, gold, or iron in this slot. And the rest is processor binding, silicon, and redstone dust. Now, processor bindings are not bad. They just require a bit of string. So I'm going to get like half a stack of that. But we might need more string. Luckily, I'm pretty sure I can throw wool into the multi-servo press, if I'm not mistaken here. And that'll get us some more string. And remember, there's sheep outside that we can shear for wool. So string's not too much of a problem for us. So that shouldn't be too big of a deal. Excellent. So let's get our controller and stuff set up. So what I'm going to start with is I'm going to get, let's get like, we're also going to need silicon from refined storage. And this silicon we can still smelt from our Certus quartz dust or regular quartz. So I just made a bunch of Certus quartz downstairs, right? Why don't I turn that all into dust? Good thing I didn't completely decimate this automation. So if I turned you all into dust, that would be a nice way to get lots of quartz. Yes, perhaps? That sounds cool. And that'll get me a lot of silicon. I like that plan. I definitely like that plan, and that's what we're doing. So I'm going to take this Certus quartz dust. Even though it's a little bit slow, it'll eventually get there. I can just smelt that straight into silicon, and then we're ready to roll. Yeah, that's the way to do it. That's 100% what we're going to do. So we're going to use applied energistics. We're going to keep the automation that I had because we're still going to want to duplicate the pure Certus. We probably won't need the Fluix as much, but we still want to duplicate that Certus so that we can get basically unlimited silicon. So we will probably wind up keeping that system down there. We'll just have to, do some things. So raw processors, nice and easy. I think we just do the... Oh yeah, we already did that. Okay, cool. And then once we smelt these, they turn into the basic processor, which is going to be used to a lot of the crafting, much like we did with applied energistics. So what we're going to ultimately want, I'm going to get a 16K storage disk, which can hold 16,000 items. I don't know how many items we really have in our AE system here, but hopefully it's less than 16,000. And if it is, that would be cool. And then, so to make that, we're going to need some improved and a number of basics. So ultimately, I'm going to need, so the 1K parts is just silicon. The 4K parts need some basic processors, and then the 16K part needs some improved processors. So long story short, we need a lot of silicon. That's not a surprise to anyone, I'm sure. So what I'm going to do is just tick accelerate this guy along, get us a little bit of silicon going, and then we can make more of what we need. So let's get the basics set up today, for sure. So one of the things we're going to need a lot of is quartz iron, and that is just iron and quartz. Boom. We now have 2 stacks of quartz iron. Your ME controller is going to need a machine casing, and it's also going to need an advanced processor. I'm going to get at least one of these. I don't know quite how many we need, but we'll make them slowly but surely because I want to be conservative with my resources before I go too crazy. Okay, so there's your controller. That's the brains of the operation. Next up, we're going to need cables. Not too bad. We might need more sand. I have sandstone. I have sand. I might sleep through this thunderstorm because heavens. Also, I updated the pack to version 1.4.1, so the Direwolf 20 pack has been updated, just as an FYI. I would lie if I said I knew what was in the update. I have no idea, but I'm sure it's cool. Now, before I die, I'm going to consume all this experience that I noticed I had. I did a lot of mining over the last couple episodes, so most of that experience comes from mining. For sure. Okay? So a few more cables wouldn't be bad. Perfect. That works. Nice. Refined storage is definitely a simpler approach to the mod. So if you're new to modding and you want to get into a system of digital storage, refined storage is a simpler, more basic approach. Applied energistics has some more complex mechanics, which... Again, I find fun, but if you're newer to modding, they might be complicated for you. So, there's options. So let's get a crafting grid, right? So a normal grid will require this stuff. So a regular grid is what we want to start with getting. And we're going to need a couple improved processors. So let me get like 5... 6, 7, 8. How's 8 sound? Does 8 sound like a good number of improved processors? I would hope so, because that's what we're doing. And then the other processors we need here, construction cores, is just a basic processor with glowstone, and the destruction cores is the same with nether quartz. And now we should be able to make a grid. Nice. And the grid is, just like with applied energistics, going to give you access to resources that you have in your system, but we want a crafting grid, which is all the better. And to get that, we're going to need another one of these advanced processors. So let's knock that out real fast. Okay, so advanced processor good to go, means crafting grid good to go. Nice. All right. We're also going to want an external storage. And external storages are, surprise, surprise, just like the storage bus that we made last episode. This guy's going to connect to our drawer system. So when we make the external storage, we now have access to our drawer system, which is cool. We're also going to want an interface, which is another neat little gadget that we're going to make here. So the interface is the same as the interface down there, where we can pipe items into it, and they'll automatically go into the AE system, or the refined storage system. So we're going to want to definitely make some of these bad boys. So let's get a few more of these. Now I know I'm going to want a lot of these. So let's get 16 cooking, and then I can pop down here and get myself another stack of silicon. Does that sound cool? See, setting off automations is great, because you can work on other stuff, and then when you get back to your automation, you're like, oh, now I have a full stack of Certus Quartz dust because it was running while I wasn't working on it. And you know, some of you who've watched Dire before know that automation is what I love. So by the end of this series, we will have fully automated half the pack, if not more. And it'll be cool. That's the theory, at least. Okay, so that's feeling better. So now let's get ourselves the interface that we wanted. So I need another destruction core, and I need another construction core. And then I should be able to get the importer and the exporter, and those can be combined into an interface. Perfect. So now those guys are good, right? Now let's get our 16K storage disk, which is going to hold all our resources. So for this, this is going to be the third tier. So we're going to want a bunch of 1Ks. So ultimately I want 9 of these, if I'm not mistaken. And then we want to upgrade these guys to 3 4K storage parts. And then we're going to upgrade the 4K storage parts using some improved processors. We need 1 more of these. Yoinks. And then we can get the 16K storage part. Cool. And then that can be combined to make the 16K storage disk. And that'll hold 16,000 items. Any kind of item that you want. To put that into, we're going to need, just like we needed from Applied Energistics, we're going to want the disk drive. So that's not too bad to get. Let me add that to the to-do list. There you are again. So we're going to need another diamond processor. Is it me, or is using Applied Energistics to create a refined storage system kind of like using, I don't know, Microsoft Edge to install Chrome? Is that too nerdy of a joke? I'm not sure. I can never tell. All right, so now we've got that all up and running. So let's come down here, and what we're going to do is we're going to replace Applied Energistics with refined storage. Cool? So I'm going to wind up doing something very similar and then probably rearranging some things. So let's place them down side by side first. Okay? So I'm going to pop down this guy, and he's going to start charging up. Cool? And then we're going to run cables. I won't lie, I was really enjoying that little like cable overlay that you got in Applied Energistics. Right? Now I'm going to pop down my disk drive, and I'm going to put my 16K storage disk in there. And unlike Applied Energistics, everything is a full block. There's no multi-block stuff going on in refined storage. So right now I've got my refined storage system. Cool? And we can see right here on the tooltip we've stored 2 out of 16,000 items. Easy peasy. How cool is that? And yeah, that's feeling pretty good. Now I can set this guy's search box to JEI synchronized 2-way. So now I can do test, and you'll see that, well, it should supposed to be doing that. Let's see. Oh yeah, look at that. It doesn't show up down there, but it's absolutely synchronized. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, JEI synchronized 2-way is usually the setting I go with. So that when I search inside my crafting grid, so for example, I want seeds, then I can go find, you know, whatever seeds, and I might be able to craft them. That's cool, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's feeling pretty good to me. Okay, so let's do this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wind up removing this bit right now. And I do have my magnet disabled for a minute, but, you know, that's fine. Yeah, this seems good. This seems good. Let's let's be prepared for this, but we're not going to do this just yet. What I am going to do is get my wrench. And we're now ready to put our thing here. But we're not going to put it there yet. What I'm going to do real quick is come down here and have these two systems side by side so that I can access them at the same time. Cool. All right. That's looking good. Now, what we will want to do is let's start by disconnecting this bit. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear this out. And I'm also going to clear this bit out. Now, one difference between the interface in Refined Storage and the ME interface in Applied Energistics is this guy can't operate too fast. If I throw items in there, he only moves like, well, actually, I didn't hook him up to anything yet, so let me do that real fast. What I might do right now, actually, before I go too deep into this, is rearrange a little bit. So let's do our cables from this guy. And I should also put my external storage here. I'm glad that you can tell the difference. Like, this cable is so apparent against the backdrop that I've chosen. Oh boy, that was not a great choice right there. Okay. And then I can move this cable and move my ME controller so that you're back. Maybe I'll move this. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put him here. And let's get... I'm just going to have to borrow this for a sec. That should be good. And we can put that there. And now if we look inside of our crafting grid, which is not powered because... Oh, right, because I moved this. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Put that there for now, and then I can rearrange that wiring later. Look! We have access to all of our drawer stuff, right? So just like we did last episode with our bus. Now, I also want to set this priority to nice and high, aka 1,000. So very similar themes here, as you guys can tell. 100% very similar. Very cool. Okay, so now that that stuff's all done, and I'm going to put away the stuff here that I don't super need at the moment, though I might need a little bit more of this. The ME interface and the facade I shouldn't need anymore. So now we want to get all the items out of this terminal and get them into this storage environment. We could just do it manually, or I could set up like a quick export bus from here. That might not be a bad idea. That might not be a bad idea. So, export bus from Applied Energistics. Yeah, that's going to need a piston. Oh boy. Now we're going to have to craft between two different systems. Let me get this made off camera and we'll be right back. You know what? No, I'm just going to skip the whole export bus thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, as quickly and easily as possible, manually move everything. Right? So that's what I'm gonna set up here. I'm gonna manually move all this stuff. So forget the whole export bus thing that I just said. I'm gonna do it off camera as well. But I'll show you on camera what I'm doing as a nice start. And then also, like I was mentioning, this thing's slow unless you put upgrades in it. See how slow he is? So I'll get some upgrades going soon, and then we'll make sure that that thing's fast. But for now, off camera, what I'm going to do, I think I just might put everything away. That seems fair. I'm going to hang on to a couple things, though. I want to make sure you're in my inventory and my food. That should be fine. And you know what? Maybe I should keep my time in a bottle there. That looks good. Yeah. And then these few things, actually, I don't need you no mores. And I really don't need a torch. So it's really just you two that are hanging out in there. Okay, good. So now what I'm going to do is click a bunch and then click a bunch. And then we'll keep an eye on how full we're getting. And if we start to get too full, I'll make another 16K. Cool. I don't think... oh, I can click and drag. Well, that's nice. Can I click and drag from refined? Because that's pretty neat. No, but that's okay. Okay, so I'll be back in a minute when this is all cleaned up. You know, this really didn't take very long. I gotta give kudos. That click and drag from the UI is pretty good. Not bad at all. So how do we wind up here? Let's see. Boom. All right. So now this system is completely empty. So I'm going to take all the disks that are also empty, and I'm going to take all the other components here. And applied energistics, we will be back, I promise. We'll do some applied energistics stuff in the future. And we'll learn all about channels and networks and all that cool stuff. For now, we're just going to hold off. Well, you know what? Let me keep that there for a sec so I can get you. Come on, be online. Come on, be online. I didn't take the wrong guy, right? There we go. Cool. So I'm going to put you guys all the way. Now I'm going to probably relocate everything. So let's move you. And you're going to move over to the right one. Don't lose this disk, because it literally has all my items on it. Literally every item in all my storage chests are in here, and it's about half full. I mean, it's kind of cool. I think it's cool, at least. And that's not even the biggest size. You can get a 64K, which holds 4 times as much. And we will probably be doing that not too far into the distant future. Okay. So now we come up here, and we install our crafting grid, and ta-da! It's like nothing has changed. Look, all my stuff's still here, and this is pretty cool, right? Now, there's like some neat things we can see. Like when we mouse over with JEI, that red overlay's there. That's one thing that was missing that was just completely messy. It's such a small little detail, and I feel like I'm nitpicking by saying like I can't live without that, but I can't live without that. Not knowing what's missing before you go craft it is just something I'm so used to in my own like mental Minecraft game that I just can't without that. Like that is a huge thing, and I know it's coming back, so don't worry. Applied Energistics will have that feature, and a few of the other ones that I was looking for and missing will absolutely be back. You know, that's just, look, you know, mods take a lot of time to make. I know, because I'm also making them. It's a lot of work, and, you know, we just have to be patient and wait for things to get done. It's all for free, and people are always doing this of their own free will, so we really have to be thankful to the mod developers for the stuff that they do, and recognize the time and effort that it takes to get some of these things done. Please, trust me on that. So, how do we want to set up over here some stuff? That's a good question. Because I want to get ore processing automated with refined storage today. I'm thinking I might need another interface. But not the applied energistics kind, the refined storage kind. So let's make sure that you, by the way, are in JEI 2-way. And now I can search for an interface over here. JEI synchronized 2-way. Is 2-way always auto-selected? Okay. Okay, good. It's not. Good. Ha! That would have been annoying to me too. I've gotten very particular about, you know, things. Very, very nitpicky about how used to interactions with this stuff works. Trust me, it's just my own diaryness. It's a thing, right? It's a word. So can you give me another stack of these, and then we can get another 2 more of these. And then we can smelt that up. And then we can make another interface. So that would be you. That would be you. Boy, I can't wait till we get to auto-crafting. I was going to do auto-crafting with Platter and Distics today, and then it turned into we're switching to refined storage. So we'll get to auto-crafting in a bit. Don't worry. It'll happen. There will be auto-crafting. Auto-crafting and automation will absolutely happen. But we need to bring back the capabilities of our old system. So let's go up here, and what I'm going to say is let me get out these things again, because I want to make sure my inventory still has the stuff I'm used to. What if we... Oh, hello. That's not where I wanted to be. What if we got some cables, and then we got our card holder. Did I put it somewhere? Is it in here? No. Oh, is it here? Yeah, that's right. It's down here. I forgot I have a dedicated spot for it. I was looking in the top section, and I forgot that the bottom section existed. So how about on the up? What if we set up a nifty little extract card set to round robin true on the orange channel? Does that sound cool? And yeah, you start extracting things. Now I'm not going to have to filter it, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up this thing for interface export. So if I got the word raw and searched for it, right? Raw copper, raw silver, raw osmium, raw gold, and we're going to have to see if raw iron. Does the JEI integration here work? Oh, it does. Good. So you can drag from JEI. Aha. Cool. And this, and this, and this, and this. Cool. So what this will do is if you put items into an interface, they will get pulled into the refined storage system and stored somewhere based on the priority, right? So either the drawers or the 16K storage disk. If you set an interface export up, what it does is it looks for those items in the refined storage system and puts them in this inventory for you. And I'm going to be like, you know, hey, just keep one of each in there. That's fine. I'm cool with that, right? So for raw, we want raw iron, copper, gold. What other raw metals are there that need to be processed? Silver, nickel. I should put nickel in there for sure. Silver we already had, right? Osmium we've got. That should be pretty good, right? That's pretty close. So now if I connect this up with cables, watch what happens. So they're going to start having those items in here, and this guy is going to start round robin exporting them. How cool is that? Huh? Now, if I wanted to, I could have each try and keep 10 in stock, and that's fine, because here's what's going to happen. If there's less than 10, like there is with gold, it'll just keep as much as it can. Cool. But for now, what's happening is this guy is extracting the copper, sticking it in the pulverizers in a round-robin kind of manner, and then this guy is automatically providing more copper until he runs out of copper. And then once he runs out of copper, then he'll start, you know, he'll stop filling that slot, and then the laser node will start pulling other stuff. And I already connected this whole set of network up to up there. So what should be happening right now is it's going into the interface, and if we look at that interface, we should see copper ingots showing up in there. See? So the copper ingots are going into the interface and getting imported into the system, and because of the priority setup, the copper should be going right here. Which we can't really see, but trust me, it probably is. I would think. As long as it's not going into here. Yeah, what's happening is this is actually losing items. And it's the copper, the raw copper that's getting pulled out of it. Right? And then over here, it's... I wish I could see the amount, but trust me, it's probably going up. It's probably just, you can't tell because of the... let's see, 247 copper blocks. At some point, we should get 9 more copper, and then we'll see 248 copper blocks. There you go. Perfect. So everything's automated and working the way we want. So now anytime I go mining, I can just sort all my stuff into here, and it'll make its way into the refined storage system. Even if raw copper or something makes its way in here, it'll automatically be exported down here and smelted. And that seems pretty cool to me. You guys tell me what you think. But I think it's cool. So I think that's a good bit of progress for one day. So we've switched gears. to this system, and that's fine. Now we're going to be using energy here, remember, so we can see we're currently using 15 forge energy per tick. That's going to go up pretty quickly. One of the first things I'm probably going to want to get set up is a wireless crafting terminal. So there's the wireless grid, the wireless crafting monitor, the wireless crafting grid, which comes from refined storage add-ons. And then there's also a super terminal, I think it's called. That comes from reborn storage, but that's going to need some expensive stuff. So we'll have to look into that in a bit. But the wireless crafting grid is definitely something I'm going to want to have with me. In order to get that going, though, we're going to need a wireless transmitter. And FYI, there's this one, and then there's the advanced wireless. So we want the normal wireless transmitter. The advanced wireless transmitter is going to need another one of those netherite dudes. But this is what's going to let us wirelessly access our system. And we can bump that up with some range upgrades, which would be nice to have. We're probably going to want about 4 of these. So, yeah. Do we have time to set this up right now? I think we do. I think we can sneak this in real quick before the end of the episode, right? Y'all are down, I think. So what we want is you, and then we're going to want you. But as we can see, we are missing one of these. So let's get that smelted up. Okay. And then this dude, yeah, we can pull this off today. And then a bunch of these. Are we out of the core of this stuff already? I guess we are. So give me another stack of that. So 4 upgrades, and then 4 range upgrades. Hopefully I have enough ender pearls. I so hilariously do not. But that's okay, because we should have... Oh, that's projectile light. That's right, I was in a cave, and it was dark. Oh, good. We have a lot of ender pearls. I knew we had enough, just not accessible just yet. And absolutely, I will be getting that drawer system connected to this refined storage system so that we can access those items from over there, over here. Trust me, that'll be happening. It's a thing that you can guarantee will happen soon. All right, so let's get just a few more things ready. I'm going to need a few more of you. How about just 8 of these? I think that should be enough. And I suspect I'm going to need a few more golds. Let's just get them cooking. You know what? Let's just get... I guess 3 is what I'm getting of you. Cool. Okay. So for the wireless crafting terminal, we're going to need a regular grid, which needs... one of these, and one of these, and finally, one of these. Then we can make the grid, and then we want the crafting grid, which is going to need a crafting table. And then we're going to need this guy, who, by the way, also needs to be charged up with RF, so don't forget that bit. And he goes into a curio slot. So if you want to, you can absolutely throw him into a curio slot and not even see him in your inventory. Now, can I put this anywhere on the thing, or does it have to be on top? Oh, looks like it can go anywhere, so that's cool. Now, by default, he has a 16-block range. Now, before we can actually use this, we want to, I think it's shift right-click onto the controller. And see how it changed color? That means it's now connected to a controller at a specific location in the world. I can now right-click this and access my entire refined storage system remotely, including the ability to craft. So, yeah, how cool is that? All right, so you can also set this up on a hotkey so that if it is in your curio slot, which it will be now, I have mine set to tab because I'm playing in single player. I don't need to look at the player list. So tab is cool. So now whenever I hit tab, boom, I have access to my thing. Now it only has a range of 16 blocks. So if you're out of that range, you're going to be out of luck. As you can see right there, there's no wireless transmitter in range, says Dyer's chat message. But don't worry, that's why we made range upgrades. Now these guys bring you up to 48 blocks. So it's not forever. And that reminds me, I need my energy pipes back because I disconnected you. And we don't want to run out of power in you. Trust me, that would be a bad time for everyone. So, it's not an infinite range, but you can have multiple of these to cover a larger area. So, the wireless transmitter will eventually be able, you know, you can have another one 48 blocks away, and then it'll cover that. Like if I put one of these at my create area, it would probably cover the create area and my base, and then I would have access to my stuff everywhere. So multiple wireless transmitters is the way you support, you know, having range stuff, and that's cool. But now wherever I'm at, boom, I can access it. You know, not wherever, but as long as I'm near my base somewhere. And if I'm like, oh, I forgot something, put things away, you know. I'm pretty excited about that change. All right, for now, Devil 20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.